All right, let's talk about this amazing superfiber you've probably heard of, Psyllium Husk, or maybe you know it as Isabgol. It's like the superstar of digestive remedies. But here's the thing, it has this really strange secret. People recommend it for two problems that are the complete opposite of each other. How is that even possible?
And that right there, that's the central mystery we're gonna unravel in this explainer. Seriously, how can one thing be the fix for when things are, let's say, moving too slowly, and when they're moving way, way too fast? It sounds like a total paradox, right? But stick with me, because the answer is actually pretty fascinating.
So, okay, let's just lay it out. On one side, you've got constipation. You know, when things are just stuck, hard, dense, not moving. The solution people point to? Psyllium husk. But then on the other side, you've got diarrhea, literally the polar opposite problem. And the solution? Yep, you guessed it, Psyllium husk again. It just doesn't seem to add up, so let's figure out how this actually works.
Okay, so to get to the bottom of this, we've got to go back a bit and look at the traditional wisdom. A lot of this comes from Ayurvedic practices, which have been around for ages. See, people have been using psyllium for generations, but here's the catch. The real secret was in how they used it. It all depended on what specific problem they were trying to fix.
So, if you're dealing with constipation, the age-old rule is to mix your psyllium with something warm, like warm water or milk. And there's a good reason for that. First off, the warmth just helps the powder dissolve so it's not all clumpy and is easier to get down. Second, there's that soothing effect. Warm liquids just feel good on an upset system. And taking it with warm milk right before bed, that's classic timing. It gives the psyllium all night to work its magic so you get relief in the morning.
But okay, now let's flip the script completely. What if you're dealing with diarrhea? The advice does a total 180. The tradition here is to mix psyllium with yogurt or curd. And honestly, this is just brilliant. It's like a power duo. The yogurt brings in all those good probiotics to help get your gut bacteria back in check, while the fiber immediately starts doing its job of absorbing all that excess water to, well, firm things up.
And look, this isn't just some ancient tech stuff. This is real-world advice that's been passed down and is still used today. I mean, check out this comment from a Reddit user. They put it perfectly. Mixing it with yogurt helps solidify your poop. It's just a straight-up, practical tip that has stood the test of time. But that still leaves the big question, why does it work so well?
All right, so how on earth does this all work? Well, this is where modern science finally comes in and just blows the whole paradox wide open. It turns out, both of those traditional methods, the warm milk one and the yogurt one, they both work because of one single, incredibly powerful property of psyllium husk. And here's the secret. Psyllium is what's called a gel-forming fiber. That's it. That's the whole key. As soon as it hits any kind of liquid, it starts absorbing it like a super sponge. We're talking many times its own weight. It swells up and creates this thick, gooey gel. And that gel is the magic ingredient that can somehow manage your gut in two totally opposite directions.
Okay, so let's break that down. First, for constipation, you've got stool that's hard, it's dense. So this psyllium gel comes along and mixes right in. Because it's holding on to so much water, it softens everything up and adds some serious bulk. That extra size and softness is like a little nudge for your intestines, basically telling them, hey, it's time to get things moving. And now, for the other side of the coin, which is just brilliant. When you have diarrhea, the problem is too much water, right? Well, that same exact gel-forming action goes to work doing the opposite. It just soaks up all that extra unwanted liquid in your system. It adds form and substance where there was none, and boom, it firms everything up. It's the same exact mechanism, just with two totally different results. Pretty cool, huh?
So we've cracked the code on why psyllium works, but that still leaves that other piece of traditional advice, right? The temperature. Does taking it warm for constipation or cool for diarrhea actually matter? Does it change the science? What's the real deal here?
Well, here's what the science says. The temperature thing, it's actually secondary. The real work, the therapeutic magic, that all happens inside your gut, which is, at body temperature. It doesn't really matter if you drank it hot or cold. So that warm for constipation, that's mostly about comfort and just making it mix easier. And the coolness from the yogurt, yeah, it can feel soothing, but neither of those is the main reason it works. They're nice side benefits.
So here's the most important takeaway from all of this. The choice of liquid, which you actually mix the psyllium with, that matters way more than its temperature. Water, milk, yogurt, that's the part of the traditional wisdom that really lines up with the science in a powerful way.
Okay, so this brings us to the practical part, the how-to guide. Now that we get the ancient wisdom and the modern science, we can put them together to create the absolute best way to use psyllium no matter what you need it for.
And here you go. This cheat sheet really sums it all up perfectly. If you're dealing with constipation, your best bet is warm water or milk, ideally at bedtime for that comfort and soothing effect. If it's diarrhea, then you want to go with yogurt or curd, probably after a meal, to get that amazing 1-2 punch of probiotics and fiber. This is really where that old wisdom and new science just come together beautifully.
So in the end, you see, it's not really a battle of traditional wisdom versus modern science. It's more about realizing that these traditional practices often had a solid scientific reason behind them, even if people back then didn't know the exact chemistry. The real lesson here? When you take the why from science and combine it with the how from tradition, you really do get the best of both worlds.